Yeah, so the ABOUND trial was designed a while ago before immunotherapy really had emerged as a now standard part of first-line non-small cell lung cancer treatment. The idea was pretty simple. Could you take a therapy like nab-paclitaxel, which was showing efficacy in the first-line squamous setting, and extend that into a maintenance setting? We knew that pemetrexed found its place in the first-line setting and has become an established standard of care for non-squamous lung cancer, where it's given with platinum therapy, usually for 4 cycles, and then in a maintenance fashion indefinitely. And so we don't have similar data for squamous lung cancer. Squamous lung cancer usually, historically, has been platinum and gemcitabine, platinum and docetaxel, platinum and paclitaxel, or platinum and nab-paclitaxel, usually for 4 or 6 cycles and then stopping. We got close with gemcitabine. Some old data suggested you could continue that in a maintenance fashion and patients could benefit. But that was really the goal of ABOUND, was could you take patients who are getting, in this case, carboplatin and nab-paclitaxel up front, patients with advanced squamous lung cancer, newly diagnosed, and then randomize them to maintenance nab-paclitaxel or to supportive care alone. That was, in its simplest form, the goal of the study. It wasn't designed to be a registration trial. A phase 3 trial was a phase 2 study to look for a signal for progression-free survival. The study was set up pretty simply. It enrolled just under 500 patients who were newly diagnosed, and they received 4 cycles of carboplatin and nab-paclitaxel. And then if they didn't have progressive disease after 4 cycles, so either a response or a stable disease, and they were otherwise doing well from a toxicity standpoint, they then got randomized to nab-paclitaxel by itself, and it was given in a different regimen where it's 100 milligrams per meter squared days 1 in 8 every 21 days, or supportive care. It was not a placebo-controlled trial. So the study actually took off to a great start, and then I think hit a little bit of an enrollment delay as immunotherapy found its place in the second line setting, and then trials opened up in the first line setting. And so a decision was made to close the study early for futility because of the slow enrollment and probably the inability to achieve a statistical result as time continued to pass and patients continued to receive immunotherapy. So at its early stopping point, here's what we found. Statistically, no advantage for the nab-paclitaxel arm over the control arm for progression-free survival. However, there was a trend. Overall survival was a secondary endpoint. Similarly, no survival advantage, but a bit of a trend. What was interesting, though, is we suspected a lot of patients were receiving immunotherapy. And when we remove those patients from the analysis, there's a suggestion that patients do benefit from nab-paclitaxel. But when you have a negative trial, a trial that stopped early, these kind of subsets don't mean anything. They're perhaps generate other questions. But the world's moved on. We now give, actually just as of the last few months, trials like Keynote 407 teach us that if you give a drug like nab-paclitaxel and platinum or carboplatin and pembrolizumab, that's going to be a new standard of care for squamous lung cancer, and those patients will just maintain the immunotherapy and taxane indefinitely. So this study, I think, just got trapped in this time where perhaps had nab-paclitaxel been approved in a drug that came into lung cancer many years ago, I think, like pemetrexed, could have been a maintenance agent. But importantly, we're moving on to hopefully more impactful therapies and regimens for our patients.
Maybe, like you say, in another world, in another life.
Yeah, well, that's why we do research. It's also why we don't expose patients to ongoing therapy if we think there's better options that are going to be available. Some have asked me, boy, David, if we didn't stop the trial early, maybe you would have found a true advantage. a lot of maybes. If the trial had enrolled faster, I think maybe that would be true, but we'd still be in an era today, even if the trial were positive, where we're probably doing that anyway with trials like Keynote 407, where we're giving maintenance nab-paclitaxel. So, I'm not sure keeping the trial open made a lot of sense. I think we learn what we can from the study that was done, but importantly, move on to other regimens.